Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad and on Instagram at Movies TV Mad 555. Welcome to Thursday's edition of the Movies TV Mad Daily. The lunatics have finally taken over the asylum. Here is a random Twitter person called Rita. I don't like praising actors too much, but I am thankful Margot Robbie fought as hard as she did to not portray an abusive relationship with Harley, to make Birds of Prey happen, and for constantly wanting to address Harley's bisexuality and Harlivy on screen too. Ha 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 ha. Do you see anything on Rita's post about Birds of Prey being a great, entertaining film? Right, so let's go back to this. I'm thankful Margot Robbie fought as hard as she did to not portray an abusive relationship. Wow! Do you know 75% of real life relationships are abusive and toxic? But now we can't show abusive relationships. You know why those of us who love Harley and the Joker together in the comics, animation, and in David Ayer's original Suicide Squad? It's not because of the abusive, toxic relationship that they have. These are two explosive, amazing characters together, and they're so entertaining. But now we're not allowed that because these nut jobs can't differentiate from reality and fiction. And you know, Harley and the Joker are like Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind. They're a beautiful couple, they're a great couple, they're an entertaining couple, and a lot of us who are sane, who don't belong in an asylum, actually love them. And what a shame that these people have taken over the conversation. And of course, Harlivy, is a ship name for Harley and Ivy. I'm sure it's not a coincidence that these are two women. And of course we live in that kind of generation now, and there's no toxicity between them, just love. It's not really a realistic relationship though, is it? If everything's good all the time, is it? But these people can't handle anything that's real, right? Now, I understand about escapism, but this is political, purely political, and this is purely from a shipper's standpoint as well. So I don't think Birds of Prey is a very good film. I don't think moving away from the Joker and Harley relationship is clever. And the bisexuality thing, which I have no issue with whatsoever, is a non-conversation anyway, because as far as I know, we haven't seen Ivy and Harley in live action thus far. Maybe we will see in the future if Robbie gets her own way. God knows what we'll get if Robbie gets her own way. But Birds of Prey wasn't a good movie. It was a political movie. It was very toxic towards men. And moving away from that Joker relationship, and the only reason they moved away from that Joker relationship actually had nothing to do with Margot Robbie, but that they decided they didn't want to use Jared Leto in this movie or use his Joker again in the central DCEU. So you're pretty much putting a crown on Robbie's head. Well, it's a false crown. A bit like Inspector Gadget when his granddaughter solves all the crimes. That's an analogy I use all the time, right? I've used it on my lives before. So honestly, Rita, I don't know what to say to you, but you're wrong. Margot Robbie is wrong. Birds of Prey was wrong. The Joker and Harley are an awesome, entertaining couple, and I would love to see them reunited in live action, maybe when Harley's too old. When Margot's too old to play the role or something, because what she's doing is actually ruining the DC that she's in. We know that she made certain stipulations to James Gunn for the Suicide Squad, and of course James, like a good little boy, bent the knee. It's not good, it's not clever, and basically Harley and the Joker are a great couple. Imagine these snowflakes during Dallas, the peak of Dallas, when JR and Sue Ellen were a couple. JR actually stitched his own wife up, Sue Ellen, and put her in an asylum when she was an alcoholic just to get rid of her. Imagine how these snowflakes would have, reacted to that. Anyway, I saw that last night. I got myself in a little bit of trouble for reacting to that, but anyway. So let's go to James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, because a very vague, interesting TV spot has been released But this one has critics' reactions, initial reactions on it, and they're positive, but I do see red flags here. So let's read the article from Screen Rant and Rick Stevenson. The Suicide Squad's first press reactions are very positive. Some early press reactions to the Suicide Squad appear in a new TV spot, praising James Gunn's upcoming DCEU film for its action and spectacle. That's a worry, that they're just focusing on the action and spectacle and nothing else. Could it be critics didn't like the other stuff? I am concerned. Early press reactions to the Suicide Squad appear in a new TV spot, and so far they look very positive. James Gunn's R-rated sequel reboot is scheduled to release in the US on August the 6th, bringing Gunn's signature style and menagerie of obscure DC characters to the big screen. The Suicide Squad features a star-studded ensemble cast including Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, Joel Kinnaman, Sylvester Stallone, Viola Davis, Jay Courtney and Peter Capaldi. Gunn's strong critical track record may look like enough on paper to guarantee success for the Suicide Squad, but the film has still had its share of doubters. That's mainly due to how poorly David Ayer's Suicide Squad was received upon its release, an issue that's largely been attributed to the same sort of studio meddling from Warner Bros. That led to the panned theatrical cut of Justice League. The DCEU has also been pretty inconsistent over the past few years, making it hard to predict which projects will win high praise and which will fall short. According to a couple of early critical reactions, the Suicide Squad looks like it may be trending in the right direction. A new trailer for the film aired during a half-time show of the Euro 2020 semi-final, England v Denmark, including reactions from BBC Radio 1's Ali Plum, who called the movie a jaw-dropping spectacle, and Digital Spy, who gave the film 4 out of 5 stars. Wow, now this is interesting. That's positive and that's good. But I'm still a little bit concerned by the reactions they're showing, because a Radio 1 movie critic and Digital Spy are not exactly the best sources. This does concern me. Of course, they would be going for the British sources because this was a British advertisement. Don't forget, the Suicide Squad comes out a week before it comes out in the US. Of course, since those reactions were selected by Warner Bros. Specifically for the purposes of the TV spot, they may not be indicative of the overall critical sentiment towards the film. Exactly the point I'm getting at. They may not be, though we've read that, sentiment towards the film. The studio would obviously be ill-advised to share unfavourable thoughts on the Suicide Squad, and no other reactions or reviews have been made public at this time. I find this very, very suspicious, by the way. We will find out very soon. When does this embargo? When is the when is the social media embargo going to lift? If this embargo doesn't lift before the film's released, we know that Houston has a major problem. Ali Plum, I was surprised as you were, honestly. A jaw-dropping spectacle. Oh, hi, Digital Spy, in a new TV spot for the Suicide Squad. And now, Ian Samwell from Digital Spy gives the film 4 out of 5. I don't know, is 4 out of 5? 4 out of 5 is good. It's a solid rating, but it's not a 5 out of 5. Does anyone give films 5 out of 5? That's interesting. So far, the Suicide Squad certainly looks like it has a lot going for it. The film is bringing back some of the most popular characters from Ayer's films, such as Robbie's Harley Quinn, Davis Amanda Waller, Kinnaman's Rick Flag and Courtney's Captain Boomerang, while also bringing in exciting additions like Elba's Bloodsport and Cena's Peacemaker. Gunn's had great success with comic book ensembles before in his Guardians of the Galaxy films. Let's not forget, his sequel had mixed reviews. I'm not being a bitch here, right? Because I've liked what I've seen thus far from the film, but the point being, we're talking about a critical reaction, not mine or your reaction. And the trailers for the Suicide Squad have teased a great blend of those movies, colourful style and a new darker tone. Leading up to the Suicide Squad's release, Gunn has also stated repeatedly that the film is one of his favourites he's ever made. The DCEU has been on a bit of a hot streak lately with Wonder Woman 84, a hot streak, Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is awesome. If the Suicide Squad can effectively balance Gunn's flamboyant style with more grounded action and practical effects, it could be the franchise's most jaw-dropping spectacle yet. But a film isn't just about its spectacle, even a superhero movie, because if comic book movies were just about spectacle, Zack Snyder would still be making DC movies, right? I'm not saying he's just, I'm not saying he's all wires and nothing else underneath. I'm saying that if people just loved spectacle, he'd still be in a job because people would love what he did. So, this is interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. And I want to talk about it. I always am very suspicious. Now, we saw the initial reactions of Black Widow skipping over the villain and certain other beats, meaning because initial reactions are supposed to be quite positive, although one critic didn't get the memo and absolutely slaughtered the film, and those lovely MCU fans decided to stalk him, be horrible about him and be utterly triggered about what he said. And he was just being honest about the movie, and I concur, he's absolutely spot on. Now, talking about the spectacle and nothing else is really worrying for me. Only showing two kind of initial reactions is worrying to me. To me, I suspect they're hiding a lot of negative reaction about this film. I hope I'm wrong. I am not one of these DC Snyder fans who wants this film to fail or who has a negative agenda. I want every DC film to be the best film ever, and I want the whole world to love it, the fans, the critics, and I always want them to make top dollar, which isn't always the case, as we know. But all I'm telling you, as someone from the industry, within the industry, someone who knows about these reactions, I'm very suspicious of these two reactions. And where are the initial reactions? When is this, a social media embargo lifting? That's what I want to know. So I'm a little bit concerned. I'm more than a little bit concerned about this. We will see very soon what happens. No one's talking about the embargo. If it's lifted after the movie releases, we do know that there's a serious issue with James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. All I can do, and you can do, is cross your fingers and hope for the best. Why Sarah Charlie's Black Adam character is so important. Sarah Charlie opens up about why she finds her role in the DC Extended Universe's Black Adam to be important for the Middle Eastern representation for Grant Hermans. By Grant Hermans of Screen Rant. Sarah Shahi opens up about why she finds her role in the DC Extended Universe's Black Adam to be essential for Middle Eastern representation. The Dwayne Johnson-led film will explore the titular anti-hero who has been imprisoned for 5,000 years in Karkduk, and will eventually become the arch-enemy to Shazam and received his powers from the wizard of the same name. Shahi and Johnson star in the film alongside Noah Centineo, Aldis Hodge, Quintessa Swindell, Pierce Brosnan and Marwan Kenzari. Development on a Black Adam film has languished in development hell for nearly 20 years, with New Line Cinema first entering development on a Shazam film before turning their sights to his arch-enemy when Johnson and fans expressed their interest in seeing him star as the character. Initially placed on hold in 2009, work slowly got back underway as Warner Bros. Began putting together its DCEU, and Johnson was confirmed as Black Adam in 2014. However, once the decision was made to split both the superhero and anti-hero into separate films, development became rocky as writers and directors left. Johnson became busy with other projects, though one such would introduce him to Jaime Collet-Serra. How do you say his name? I forgot how you say his name, but anyway, Jaime Collet-Serra, and see him take the helm. Shahi caught up with the Hollywood Reporter to discuss work in Netflix's Sex Life and journey to starring in Black Adam, which she raved about getting to work with Johnson. One of the kindest humans ever, but in looking deeper at her role in the film, the 41-year-old actress talked about one of the bigger reasons she resonated with the role and its representation. See what Shahi had to say below. I'm Middle Eastern, I'm Persian, and there's not a lot of Middle Eastern representation out there, so being in a movie like this really helps make a statement for my culture and where I come from. There are other Middle Eastern actors that I know who are either getting cast in terrorist roles or they're really being stereotyped by how they look, so I'm hoping that on some level Black Adam will help open up that stereotype. And hopefully Hollywood will become more colourblind in a way and will open itself up to more Middle Eastern actors and storylines. I get the kind of frustration from Middle Eastern performers and artists from being cast as terrorists. Obviously there is a stereotype there, and I suppose when you want to represent a Middle Eastern terrorist, you are going to cast a Middle Eastern person, and at the end of the day it is a negative stereotype, but it's also work. And obviously there should be more opportunities for Middle Eastern artists than that, but at the end of the day, if I was cast to be addicted to doner kebabs because I'm a Greek Cypriot, I wouldn't be fucking offended about it, although it's different than being a terrorist, I understand. As exciting as Black Adam is for fans who have waited for Johnson to leap into the comic book world, the chance for the film to offer better representation for its Middle Eastern characters and performers is a more notable element. Just remember what this person said. The representation of a Middle Eastern actor is a more notable element than the actual fucking movie and the entertainment element. These extremists, this is what they believe. This is what they literally believe. No, this representation is not more important than the movie and the excitement and the geek, and the geek meter being broken from our excitement. It's not. You are wrong. The superhero genre is frequently becoming more diverse, filled both in front and behind the camera. The long-awaited DCEU project has that in spades, from its Spanish-American director to its Simonian star, seeing the typically white characters of Hawkman and a Cyclone portrayed by black actors. Hodge and Swindell already mark substantial evolution in representation on screen. It's very interesting though when we culture swap people who have been white before. It's fine, but if a white guy plays a person of colour, it's whitewashing. It's interesting how the mentality is different, and I understand we need this representation, but I don't think we need to swap out, culturally swap out characters. Maybe it would be more interesting to create more people of colour in comics, original characters, then adapt them and cast those minorities in the roles in live action. Maybe that would be a less triggering idea, but these are extremists. They don't care about that. Though still not officially confirmed to occur in the film, one of the bigger points of curiosity for Shahi in Black Adam will be whether she becomes her DC Comics heroic counterpart, Isis. With Shazam confirmed not to be appearing in the film, it may require a change in her origin story from 52, but would tie into the film's attempts to paint Johnson's titular hero as more of an anti-hero rather than an outright villain. Only time will tell when the film arrives in theatres next July. Yep, just remember everyone, representation is more important than the movies and the entertainment and character development. Always remember that. Always remember these people that you follow, these journalists from these different publications. They're all political now. They don't care about the entertainment industry. They have poisoned and invaded every industry and every enterprise, including education and the entertainment industry. And we have to keep on fighting back, because they are very, very toxic people. Now, I have no issue with Sarah Shahi saying, wow, I'm Middle Eastern and I'm getting some great representation here. I'm happy for Sarah. I like Sarah. I love Sarah's body of work. But never tell me representation and inclusion is more important than going to see the movie and being entertained by it. That's my opinion, and you'll never change it. We stick with the DCEU. Shazam 2 set photos show Zachary Levi in damaged suit. New set photos from Shazam Fury of the Gods show star Zachary Levi wearing a damaged Shazam suit while filming the upcoming DCEU movie by Cooper Hood or Screen Rant. New set photos from Shazam Fury of the Gods reveal Zachary Levi wearing a damaged Shazam suit. Warner Brothers and DC Films made a conscious effort to lighten the tone of the DC Extended Universe with Shazam, and the 2019 superhero movie proved to be a decently sized hit. Work on Shazam 2 has been underway ever since, with the sequel expected to be even bigger than the first film. It features the return of Zachary Levi as Billy Batson's Asher Angel superhero form known as Shazam, but he'll have a brand new look. Shazam's costume received a major update for Shazam Fury of the Gods. The suit retains the entirely red base design, but features a fresh lightning bolt symbol on the chest. There are several other tweaks to Shazam's suit for Shazam 2, and he isn't the only character receiving a makeover. The entire Shazam family has new suits for the sequel, which were officially revealed by director David F. Sandberg. Ahead of set photos leaking the new looks, now some more set photos show a new look at the suit and its damaged state. Shazam Fury of the Gods is currently in production in Atlanta, Georgia, and multiple behind-the-scenes images have surfaced online due to its public filming locations. The latest look at Shazam 2 comes courtesy of Twitter user via Murphy's Multiverse, who happened to see Levi in the full Shazam suit running down the street. The user snapped a few photos of Levi and they noticeably feature substantial damage to the left side and arm of Shazam's suit. Check out the photos below. So let's go over to Twitter to check this out. So if I can just do a close-up of one of the running. So as you can see here, it is damaged on the side like the author explained. So that's one picture. What is he holding? Oh no, he's not holding, he's holding some kind of, is that a hammer? And he's not, and then it's his cape flapping behind him. He looks really cool. So that's that one. And it's kind of a similar picture. Looks really cool though, doesn't he? He really does. That's awesome. And there he is again. Of course, when it's in the film, he'll look a lot cooler than this. These are just freeze-frame pictures, you know, but looks cool anyway. Yeah, and that's that. So, yeah, very interesting. Due to the nature of the Shazam 2 photos, it is unclear what or who caused the damage to Shazam's suit. The most likely explanation is that it has to do with the movie's main villains, Helen Mirren's Hespera, Lucy Liu's Calypso, and both demigods who might be powerful enough to cause this level of damage to Shazam's suit. Since both characters aren't actually from DC Comics and are instead pulled from Greek mythology, it is unknown what their powers will be, but some type of magic is plausible and could be what damages Shazam's suit. Are you telling me these demigods have never been referenced in a Shazam comic before? Surely they have. The cause of Shazam's suit being damaged might still be a mystery, but the fact that it is damaged at all is potentially revealing. The suit never took any damage in the first film, even as Shazam battled the 7 deadly sins and Dr. Sivana. Shazam Fury of the Gods will change that by the looks of these set photos, which can establish Hespera and Calypso as even greater threats to Shazam. It is also possible that the damage done to Shazam's suit could be tied to Billy Batson's story and potentially having weakened powers for some reason. They may go through the whole thing of him falling in love with one of the characters, and maybe that makes him weaker. Maybe that's what they're doing. We'll have to wait and see. But some great little images there. I'm very excited for Shazam Fury of the Gods. Looks like it's going to be a really entertaining movie, and David F. Sandberg certainly knows how to entertain his audience. And entertainment, my friends, in character development is the key. Even now, when everyone wants to, when, you know, the inmates of Arkham Asylum want to take over the beautiful world we live in. And our final article of the day, our final catch-up of the day, I'm sure you'll be very relieved to hear that, or maybe you wanted more. I know some of you missed the live stream, still waiting for my laptop. It is coming any day now, I promise. Marvel Studios and DC Films will skip Comic-Con at home at 2021. This July, for the second year in a row, Marvel Studios and DC Films are skipping out on presentations for the online San Diego Comic-Con at Home by Richard Dink. Marvel Studios and Warner Brothers DC Films are skipping out on presentations at this year's San Diego Comic-Con at Home 2021. San Diego Comic-Con has become the #1 spot for major studios to tease their upcoming projects. Past tense, my friends. With Marvel Studios and DC Films often having given presentations, fans got their first announcements for Marvel Phase 4 at Comic-Con 2019, and the trailers for Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice and Suicide Squad became some of the most talked about trailers at the convention in 2015. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic last year, San Diego Comic-Con opted for an online presentation to make up for the fact that large crowds could not gather. Due to the uncertain state of the 2020 film release schedule, many of the major studios opted out of presentations, with the only major film to bring a presentation to San Diego Comic-Con at Home 2020 was New Mutants. Yeah, I bet that was a crowd turner. San Diego Comic-Con will have an in-person convention the week of Thanksgiving, but will still hold an online presentation from Friday to July 23rd to Sunday, July the 25th, as the summer has often been a tradition. According to Deadline, neither Marvel Studios nor DC Films will be making an appearance during the online convention this year. There is no word yet on if Sony Pictures, who are producing Spider-Man No Way Home in co-production Venom, Let There Be Carnage and Morbius, will be in attendance. I don't think they will be. While Warner Brothers isn't bringing anything for DC Films, they are having the television side of the company in attendance with a presentation of DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Imagine that. So probably San Diego Comic-Con were putting pressure on WB to do something. Oh, you can have that piece of shit, Legends of Tomorrow. It's hilarious, but we'll talk about this when we finish this article. While both studios are skipping out on San Diego Comic-Con at home, both Marvel Studios and DC Films may be saving their footage for their own conventions. DC Fandom was a major hit in 2020 with the trailers for Wonder Woman 1984 and The Suicide Squad and The Batman all creating positive buzz, and the convention will return this year on October the 16th, 2021, with more footage from DC's upcoming slate. Marvel Studios took advantage of the 2020 Disney Investor Call to announce a number of projects and casting news, and could do the same for 2021 given that no D23 is scheduled for this year. Marvel Studios also has a whole year's worth of films and television to carry them over into the year, and with Disney Plus they can release their own promotional material. Even before the pandemic, both Marvel Studios and DC Films were pivoting away from San Diego Comic-Con. Marvel Studios skipped 2018 for Disney's own D23, and Warner Bros. Decided not to showcase any footage from Wonder Woman 84 or Birds of Prey at 2019 Comic-Con. Well, we know why they didn't want to show the footage for those films now, don't we? Due to the number of the trailer leaks, the cost of travel for a talent, and many high-profile hits at Comic-Con like Cowboys, Aliens, Godzilla, King of the Monsters and Green Lantern not translating into hits at the box office, it appears studios were looking for a way to leave San Diego Comic-Con behind and have now found a chance with San Diego Comic-Con at home. So what do I make of this? First of all, none of us are surprised that WB and DC Films are skipping San Diego for the second year in a row. Right, San Diego Comic-Con is dead. You are going to get so many people pulling out of it now because all these studios, all these television companies, all these streamers can literally do their own fucking event. Netflix can do their own event on their streaming platform. So can Prime. So can Disney Plus. Everyone. And basically, it was WB and DC who come up with this first with DC Fandom. DC Fandom is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a fucking celebration of DC fans, and it's here. Here's this big event, this big gift. You don't have to go to San Diego. You don't have to kind of try and get some kind of pirated stream to watch it. This is for you. You can watch it legally. You are not, you're a fan. You have every right to attend this DC event. It's a celebration of DC and it's fucking beautiful. Now I know some people say, I like San Diego Comic-Con. I used to like the buzz of San Diego Comic-Con, but you know what? I'm quite happy for it to be done this way. And I think DC Fandom is a really fucking amazing event. And it's going to be, it's going to be coming every year now. Forget San Diego Comic-Con. That's in the past. The major outlets will not be using that again. It's done, it's dead, it's finished, dead before the creation of man. Move on from it, because it isn't coming back for DC and Marvel. So I can't wait for DC Fandom, because we're going to see every trailer for every film, all the 5 films in development and production right now. And obviously I think October will be too soon for Green Lantern Corps, but I'm sure the creators will be there. Obviously we want to know more about The Flash, Shazam Fury of the Gods, the Batman, Black Adam, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So, bring on October the 16th. Now, I want to make an announcement about DC Fandom. This will be the only YouTube channel to watch during DC Fandom. Forget the professionals with better cameras and better mics. It doesn't matter. You won't have me there. So I will be covering this event. I will either do little mini stuff to talk about the stuff that's being revealed, or I may even stay live for the entirety of the actual event. Let me know what you would like me to do. How would you like me to cover DC Fandom? I think I would like to stay live for the entirety of it. The problem is I probably won't be able to do that. Maybe I can be live for the whole thing, but sometimes I may have to get up and leave, maybe go to the toilet, help my disabled dad, go to the other room and might have to talk on the phone or something like that. Now, if you'd like me to be live for the whole event, I am very happy and I'd love to do it. I think that probably is the better idea. We'll see what I do, because this time last year when we had the first DC Fandom, I didn't realise I could go live on a laptop, and now I know I can go live on a laptop. I'm waiting for my laptop to come in. Live streams are coming back very soon, so please be patient and faithful and don't desert me because there's no live streams. That wouldn't be very nice. Anyway, thank you for attending today's Movies TV Mad Daily. Comment down below, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. At Movies TV Mad on Twitter, at Movies TV Mad 555 over on Instagram, where we do more than talk about entertainment. We even have a bit of a laugh. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.